It's time to get in the mech shop, boys. So we're back with another community stream, but also a bit of a reactionary stream. I want to look at the Dawn of War trailer. Don't have to jump right into it right away because I am getting some painting done. So as the community channel members requested, I'm going to be looking back into Bully Boys. So I'm painting up some Mega Knobs to be a little more just better looking, not that much better because trust me, I'm not that great of a painter. Got some other breakers to do. Got some death copters that I can eventually work on as well in case I keep playing Cult of Speed at all anymore. So a lot to get done today, a lot to talk about. Pretty exciting. I've been going back and forth on what I've been playing, and thank you for joining all the gets that are here. Whoa, to the chat. What's up, Arcane? I interrupted watching my extended Fellowship of the Ring. Dude, and funny enough, I just started watching that again yesterday yesterday actually. Yeah, so it's fantastic, dude. We're on the same page. I just started watching it with Lady WAAAGH Tactics. So fantastic. That's awesome. Shout out to the chat, everybody that's here. Show it up. Talking about Dread Mob ended up winning it. Yeah, and actually I was just playing Dread Mob before the stream. So I was just playing Dread Mob, 18 killer can, so we can talk about that goofiness and how that felt as well. And so yeah, all in all, I'm pretty pumped. With everything being said, as most people kind of can acknowledge and appreciate that the community already has like a really good balance. You know what I'm saying? So it's that's where we actually want to be. And when the game's kind of the most fair and balanced in some ways, you can have a lot of good games. Now, of course, there's going to be definitely feel bad moments as there's been power creep and everything like that. But there's a ton we can actually still do. I don't think we're as hopeless as some other factions that they just look out and they're like, oh, there's a katana, there's nothing I can do about it, or Space Marines are a big bully. I think orcs still have a great game into a lot of different things. So I'm pretty pumped. I do think some things, like somebody said, need to play two Gorks. Hey, playing the Gorks, that would be difficult, just because things are really good at killing big stuff right now. So yeah, I don't know about that, but I do think that overall, we have other options than that. I actually also have like a bunch of bits of guys I want to actually do as well. So so that's I kind of wanted to kit bash some stuff, but I'm not going to do it right now. So yeah, let's see if I change the camera or anything. You guys let me know about that. So yeah, what's up? And who else? Oh, what's up, the bad dog? Whoa, yeah, you said you fell asleep last time. I know, dude. It's long days. Me personally, a long day too, dude. I was getting tired as well earlier, but it's all good. Catching that second wind, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what time it is in your time zone, so but nice that you're here. Thank you for being here. The bad dog. Oh, that's hideous amount of pain right there. But I'm trying to get into it because what I always noticed is whenever I try to do these streams, I just immediately like don't paint anything because I'm not used to it trying to do both. So this time, like, no, I'm gonna do it. This is a botched green that I was trying to do, and yeah, I was trying to highlight, and it came out. Oh, okay, focus a little more. It focused horribly. Here's a twin kill saw Mega Knob that I have. As someone pointed out, yeah, Mega Knob's Dread Mob did win the poll, which is why I'm playing it right now. But I did want to just catch up on my Bully Boy Mega Knobs too because they're so funny looking right now with how ugly they're painted. So yeah, I'm just trying to get some of these guys done. But if you guys are ready, now that we have at least have a little bit more people here in the chat, you guys down to watch the Dawn of War already? Let's see, I was showing right here. I don't know how I got to took it down, but yeah, here's Dawn of War audio. I mean, you let me know, chat. If you guys are already trying to look at that, I've actually never played the other Dawn of War games, to be honest. I do like those kind of strategy games. I played Age of Empire and stuff like that, and always had fun with that. I played the Lord of the Rings version as well. I think I still have the discs, and funny enough. So yeah, I do enjoy that kind of game. Don't know if I'll spend like a ton of time playing it, but what I do like to do when I look at it is pay attention to like the kind of models that they're showing and what they're focusing on, but also what they're not showing. Right? Yeah, there is 2 videos. So I could do just the first one. I'll do that. Now get this. I want to get this first layer of green out on somewhere. I miss Dawn of War, but this one looks really nice, and I like all the orc focus, which is exactly what you want to see before you get into uh, the new edition, right? When we're supposed to be the main antagonist. So, they're giving us love, at least in that way. Now, as for how it is as a faction, I don't know. It's funny. I hear people when they talk about it, they're like, orcs are super hard to play in Dawn of War. I'm like, well, they're kind of not that we're super hard to play on the tabletop, but competitively, people would say it's one of those things you got to get used to setting up as an army, right? Just getting a little bit of green on there for my gits. All right. I think they said they're down for it. Arcane, what do you got to say? We getting ready for speed freaks after the stream? Ooh, okay. Yep, I'm down. Arcane, if we gotta get my contact's gonna mess the dry. Ugh. That yeah, I'm down to actually play Speed Freaks after this if you guys can. So if we can get enough people, that'll be sick. I would look forward to that. I've just been starting to play the Speed Freaks games with the boys Arcane and other people. I do play some other games, so I do play a little bit here and there with the community, but I don't play all the time. So thank you very much for that super chat, by the way. Whoa, I'm very excited. You're the one who got me into that game to actually fully play it because I had never committed playing enough before the gets. So let's get into, like people said, we can watch the first one. Oh, keeps my little thing open. Okay, let's see. I have to play it in little increments. Should I get rid of my little? Okay. I'm gonna run all the attachments except the hunts. Yes, I like that. Play them all, dude. Enjoy them because I think that's what we actually have as the works, and I do have fun doing it. So everybody, okay, I see Tigers. What's up, Hobby and Breakers? Yeah, I got mine right here. Oh shoot, I said mine right here. Hold on, stupid camera. I got some that were half done. I got their pants done, some of the metal plating, but I really should have started off with the skin. And that was a mistake, not starting off with the skin. So might end up messing that one in there. Yeah, but I mean, the tank busters, not the breakers. Tank busters did me good work today, at least. So let's get into this. Of course, I have to play it in increments. Hopefully, you guys can hear the audio chat. Make sure, let me know. I did click, so I should be good on that. But remember, I'm getting used to this. So it has been confirmed it's Gorguts, and now he's been upgraded with the Grot on the top instead of just whatever he used to have. I think was just a shooter. So that's pretty sweet. Notice a lot of squig hogs is what I'm going to point out here. You can see a lot of squig hog gets that are being showed on here, but we already know that for the most part, and that was the old hotness. But pay attention, go through your mind. What are they not showing, right? What are they not showing? Because that's what's interesting to me. Oh, throwing admins, robots,
The orcs don't just fight wars.
More squigs right off the bat. Beast Snaggle boys. They said there's a difference between the Beast Snaggle boys and the other boys, so there's going to be something nice. Oop, chat's already catching on right now.
They live them loud, anarchic, and most importantly, violent. Up close, orcs are relentless, and their melee skills are.
I should let it go that long, otherwise, I'll get flagged or something. Okay, so in this big mosh pit, how are the orcs doing? Kind of losing this mosh pit. Kind of need a little bit more boys to get stuck in there, but that's all good. That's all good.
Deadly boys swarm the field in numbers that crush.
Okay, guys, crossing swords, pretty sick. I love when they have little battle animations in the actual game. Sometimes they just have
while Storm Boys blast into battle.
Storm Boys, okay. They're like a little bit of a, is it just me or is that kind of Storm Boy look a little more outdated? I have my Storm Boy model. Storm Boy models actually look pretty great, to be fair. Honestly, so.
Full strapped to rockets. And
so impact mortals, baby. All right, so these five assault intercessors about to get dunked on. Let's get it. I'm about to get crumped and smashed down. So
chaos.
This was the first. This was the trailer, just so you know. So this is just the official trailer at the top. They do a faction breakdown of like the first campaign, where they distinguish like each war boss character you can play. Here's our boy, the Squig Hog boys. Let's get it. Appreciate how the modeling looks. It doesn't look as
Squig Hog Riders charge in a top.
All right, I'm down with it. Running straight into the fire. Hopefully that's
Snarling beasts, smashing through enemy lines before anyone can react.
More here. Notice, I think for the most part, you end up playing the campaign into a lot of Adeptus Mechanicus, so you'll see that a lot as well on this trailer.
For players who want more Daka, orcs.
Okay, there was Gorguts right up in there. Here's Imperial Guard in this one, actually, though, but still.
Never disappoint. Their shooters
are very momentum based off what it's been describing. So you're gonna be sending a lot of dudes to just keep constantly killing, dying, to increase the wall energy, kind of increase of momentum and power. That's what I would
unleash relentless storms of gunfire.
Okay, so we're seeing Death Dreads, we're seeing Flash Gits, some kind of other DACA units. Like I said, a lot of Adeptus Mechanicus. I can turn off this captioning. Okay.
Turning the battlefield into
taking over little bunkers. Here's some Adeptus Mechanicus here as well. Okay, these guys look like they're getting kind of hit from all the directions.
A wall of noise and flying scrap. Leading the mayhem.
You can't be standing in place like that, boys. You got to charge. You can't be stuck like that. Flash Gits getting stuck in. A lot of Flash Gits. I appreciate the Flash Git love, right? I know when I started in 8th edition and we were playing with Flash Gits, boy, I wish they were good, and I was always like trying to play them and such. Same thing for knobs, and then
other Flash Gits, swaggering show-offs, packing the loudest.
Okay, a word boy making his appearance. What's going on here? Okay, another one. That's a good one too, Mr. Ghostly. Right, seeing a lot of Flash Gits. We're not seeing Ludas. We're not seeing Ludas. You know what else we haven't seen? Any trucks. All these boys are running around on foot. Okay, maybe it could be so, but they've been transported.
Engineered guns.
And speaking of the word boy, sorry, word boy, I left you back there. No, don't know why he's leading the Flash Gits, but they did him a good job powering up, psyching up some
engineered guns in the
shots off. He's sitting right here in the field.
War, shredding anything in sight with ridiculous firepower and even more ridiculous enthusiasm. And when brute force
too long, going too fast there. Okay, Flash Gits just getting in a straight up fight. This is Space Marines winning in it. Death Dread, still no trucks, like we said. There's a battle wagon showing off, a Gorkanaut being shown off. Notice battle wagons are freaking huge, guys. I know we don't have like proper battle tanks, which does suck for the most part, but battle wagons are freaking huge, right? So you know, our modeling at least is pretty much appropriate when you ever want to.
And when brute,
look at that, yeah, dude, he's as big as the Morkanaut, damn near.
Force is required.
Come on, let's go. And how they walk. You let me know how you guys feel about how they walk. Death Dread's looking a little rough.
Spring the heavy stuff.
That might be a little bit much. You can get a little better stride in there, no?
Death Dreads walking.
Let's go. What are these, guardsmen? All right. I appreciate them being chucked around.
Scrap nightmares built to stop and smack
all over while they're moving around with the claws. This guy's quadruple claws, so multiple loadouts. This guy's 4 claws as well. Exactly. Gorkanaut walks exactly how I imagined they would. Shout out to the Bad Dog from 5 War Tactic memberships. Whoa! Thank you very much for that. You get like I said, we're doing that after extra report. It looks like I could double quadruple check. I'm gonna put a poll out. You guys actually, because of you right now, I want to do it. I got my paint stuff out, guys. Don't worry, I'm gonna paint. I want to know, do you guys appreciate that you're using guys? I have a question. How gas focused orcless have become? Very straightforward poll. I'm gonna pull out of here for the gets that are here while we're going through this, just because we're gonna be chilling here. Want to get this going. I want to put this poll out. I had this question earlier that I put myself. Do you like how gas focused orc lists have become? Now I could have said this better. How I thought about this earlier when I was putting it better was articulated better. But yes, I wanted to say that. I was thinking, do people actually like that you feel like you have to run gas a lot, how important he is, how much he really matters? Shout out to the Bad Dog So for you, that's why we're doing after action reports. And like I said, it seems like Dreadmob ended up pulling it out. Still more time to vote. So if you became a membership, go over there, go to the community poll, vote right now on what you want to see me take after action reports on. Do a couple, maybe an RTT and some other games on whatever wins that, and then move on to the next one and keep it going so we could just kind of test out the new stuff. That's why I'm working on the Mega Knobs too.
Look up to the Gork.
All right, actually utilizing his DACA. You know, if only GW understood that, you know, it's very normal that orcs hit on 5s because they're constantly actually advancing and they you know, aren't meant to be hitting that well. We should have assault built in.
A fortress on legs, bristling with guns and ready.
Oh no, he has assault. That makes so much sense, right? Am I coping right now? Maybe
to crush anything unlucky enough to stand in front of it.
What? I doubt he'll be used as a transport, but if he was, that'd be awesome.
Makes the orcs.
It looks a lot more intimidating when you actually see it kind of fighting and also kind of silly at the same time, right? I kind of want to watch that again.
With guns.
So he's got some boys. I don't think they disembarked from him, but maybe they did, right?
And ready to crush anything
flames.
Lucky enough to stand in front of it.
Doesn't even use his arm the entire time. That sweep claw attack that he does in the game that he always fails to kill everybody with, didn't even use it.
What makes the orcs truly dangerous?
All right, here we go.
Is the power of the war. A battle frenzy that surges across the field.
Let's go. It says it gives them an offensive buff. How often can it actually be used is what's actually going to be important. You're going to be spamming that in this game for real.
Driving every unit into a green tide of...
It better grow from the more fights you get in, right? And how big your WAAAGH. I'm pretty sure they say that based off the thing. Gas and 20 poise. Not every list has to have gas and 20 poise, and not everybody goes always that way or like a Big Mac. But I do, you know, want to at least put that in the poll. I think I got a bunch of green on my arm right now, boys. Dang, what the heck? Look at that. What the heck? All right, I got that on mine. Yeah. You notice the battle wagon is used and kind of portrayed as an artillery piece. Look how it's sitting back and just
green tide of
So I appreciate next muscle and more Madaka. Word boy right in here getting some shots downfield. Yeah, let's go, word boy. I'm turning into an orc. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm just watching this video. Mega Knobs, okay. Hey, they snuck them in here, boys. Yeah. I was gonna say it was hard to notice these because look how they kind of boom. You don't see them anymore. Right? But they did slip in some Mega Knobs. Now, not much to see here yet. You can see them right here in this distance. You guys see them right here? Looking pretty beefy. Just saying. I mean, they're going to still keep the Mega Knob, you know, style of being still kind of boxy because, I mean, gas to a degree is. But the claw ratio, I don't know. They're looking a little bigger. So you can see them kind of busting out through here, through this side move right there. Boom. You can see them a little slightly better, not too much. They're kind of recircling. All right, boom, right here. Looking much larger than that Space Marine he just crumbed. Can I get that slower? I think he just crumbed. Yeah, right there. Yeah. Looking much larger. That's right here.
Might makes.
So, was that it? Did I see another Mega Knob in there? What are these guys in the middle? I missed it.
Might.
Oh, the Storm Boys. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I had not noticed that Mega Knob the first time I watched it. It took till like the second or third time for me to actually see the Mega Knob.
Makes.
And then we got Squig Hog Boys.
Right.
Some more DACA rotation. Not a big variation of units that they're showing, but a lot of pigs.
Orcs follow the big.
There's he's not Gore Guts. This guy's Gut.
Biggest and strongest. Players choose between Gorguts of the Bad Moons, the returning fan favorite, or Guzzcutter.
That's his name. So how it's being played out is one guy's like a Big Mac Bad Moon. Of course, you can still play, and it's showing it. You can still play. Yeah, it doesn't show Mandos either. You know, you can play either. It doesn't matter.
Fan favorite or Guzzcutter.
There's still battle wagons, Gorks, Flash Knobs, and here's Mega Knobs again in the background, very subtly being shown. Boom, Mega Knobs. You can't see the Mandos because they're hiding, bro. They wouldn't be good They wouldn't be good Mandos if you could see them, right? Yeah, proper Mega Nobs. That's what I'm talking about. So the Gut Cutter gets all the focus here on the wagon and the pigs. Even the Word Boy kind of sticking out, but you look right past them. You got some Mega Knobs right here, boys. That's what caught my attention as well.
Leading the
looking pretty sick, but they're just
snake bites.
And right there, he's in front. Those 3 Mega Knobs are running as well. That's also how they kind of caught me off guard. Look how much more massive they are. These Megas are than these Beast Snagga boys around them. So these are Beast Snagga boys right in front of them and to the side of them.
Snake bites.
And they just make them look tiny. Now I know there's a difference between their little closer to the camera, and they're dark, so a little dark to see, but they're looking a lot bigger than the boys.
Both
they're looking very wide, like the width of the squigs next to them.
Both ruthless, both brutal, and both eager to prove who deserves to
like battle wagons, like they're shooting platforms.
Be boss.
Really
Gorguts fights with ruthless cunning.
A little bit more. Charging head first. You always wonder how these guys get away with not wearing helmets. Let me see what the poll says real quick. I'm interested. Dang. I mean, okay, not as many votes as I thought we would have right now, but still, a lot of yeses. Do like how focused as gas has become. That's good. That means that people want to utilize the big, name character, epic character.
He storms the front lines in a hail of
awesome
gunfire. His custom shooter.
More Mega Knobs. Yeah. Now we got an up close look at some Mega Knobs for the most part. So on the shooting rockets, sweet. That's not going to happen again like it was. Back in the day, boys used to have rockets on your Mega Knobs, which was silly.
One of his
oh, man, went too fast. I was just trying to show off their face.
Shooter. One of
oh, my gosh. Stop doing that. All right. There we go. Sweet. So, Mega Knobs, Big Yellow. Did they look updated to you? These guys look more updated to me. I mean, I don't know. This isn't the models yet. Just saying, though. These guys don't look so boxy. They look just a little more stretched out, longer, wider, just like the Space Marine Terminators, right? They still obviously look like Terminators, but they're just a little taller, a little wider. And they're looking pretty big.
One of his many brutal ranged options.
Because Gorguts, look how huge he is, and that wasn't Gorguts back there, was it? Wasn't him?
Hail of gunfire. His custom.
So look at him compared to Gorguts. Now there's too much smoke in the way to give a good, size comparison. But this Mega Knob compared to Gorguts.
Shooter, one of his many brutal ranged options. Blast.
So I mean that Mega Knob, oof, he'd probably be like right. Up to that Death Tread's eyeball or something. Not to that eyeball, probably to this top teeth.
And barrels forward through carnage, ripping into what's left with unstoppable fury.
Look how much smaller these boys are than the Gorguts. These Snagga boys, they're super tiny.
Unstoppable fury.
Oh man,
finally
some love. They're wearing the back here, and they're dark. They give them a really dark black color, this golf style. So you can't really notice them that much, but they're right there, and they're much bigger than these Snagga.
Brings raw muscle to the fight.
Look at them, even coming out the field like that. Dude, those look like little killicans right now, almost, damn near.
Charging in atop his colossal.
I'm really hoping the cans change, dude, because I've told you guys that skill looks wrong. Death Tread and the Mega Box looks off. Yeah, maybe. Trailer, we'll see.
Smashing through lines with unstoppable force.
This is what I want. I wonder, right? I also think, speaking of Gorguts, I feel like looks a little off. Does anybody else just feel like he's a little too hot, top heavy? Like, I don't know, maybe not. Or he's just,
2 warlords, 1 truth.
All right, Def Coptas.
Only the
no one ever thinks about that. Orcs are the only army in 40K that utilizes helicopters. Bam. And helicopters technology is awesome for combat and aerial.
Only the strong.
Look at them. And they also need AP, boys. find each other.
Orcs
It's like
don't just
game that when the orcs, if you have a bunch of orcs and they're near each other and they're not fighting the enemy, they'll start fighting each other.
endlessly fight in the field. They build endlessly too.
Quick building, boy.
Their base endlessly fight in the field.
Look at that. I don't know, man. I want to be able to make Squigosaurs, dude.
They build endlessly too. Their bases sprawl in noisy scrap and industrial chaos, boasting the cheapest buildings in the game.
Cheapest buildings. They have fire support. They're everywhere. Yeah, Gargantuan Squig. I don't know, man. They showed it. I'm saying that we're gonna get
every shack's bristling with a gun or two, or three, ready to shoot back at would-be attackers.
Give DACA on them, defensive support. Probably just spam it. Like, imagine kind of like Orcs play in the lore, as you would imagine. As you take ground, you plant more buildings and just keep spawning your enemies forward, right in the enemy's faces. Get right up to their border with just your barracks, your building type units, and start just deploying the boys.
The Orcs love fighting and winning, and they win by throwing in more bodies, and they win
more Mega Knobs, more Death Jokes.
By throwing in more bodies.
There you go. There's some Mega Knobs. Okay, look how freaking... All right, you guys can say if the ratio is off or not, but those Mega Knobs make those Squig Hog boys look kind of small. Look at this is a Mega Knob. That's a Squig Hog boy. All right, this is a Death Dread. That's not a Mega Knob. These guys are Mega Knobs coming from this lower.
Throwing in.
See, those are Mega Knobs. They got banners. There's the claw right there. I mean, is it just me? I mean, that's huge. He doesn't make them look small necessarily, but I mean, if I in a 1v1, I'm taking the Mega Knob in this fight. Right there. Look at him. Look at that. Just as DACA is as big as the boy on top or the Squig's head. Just saying.
More bullets and more brute.
More flash gets, more
brutality than anyone can handle.
Look how big he is. Boom. Mega Knobs.
Handle.
Yeah. I mean, those are just humans, so they kind of should be.
That's the
awesome.
Orc way. Direct.
Sweet. I guess they just took out a knight right there. Awesome.
Loud.
So shout out to IG, shout out to that. And of course, we can show the campaign if we feel like it. But sweet, the Mega Knobs in chat for those channel members. If you just got a channel membership, shout out to the Bad Dog who did that. Thank you very much. But let's get some Mega Knobs in the chat as the emojis if you got it. So let's get into it. Let's pin up these Mega Knobs, as I was saying, because that could be in part why I'm, getting excited a little bit about that. Gore's Kutta was cool. Gore Kutta. He was pretty cool as a character also. Let me get back to my painting before my paint dries up. Now, this mic is right in my face. Okay. Hopefully it still works, guys. Thanks for letting me know. Gaz going, better be able to teleport. In the game you can, but I think you're going to be able to, next edition, they'll probably be able to keep that in the game. Because we've seen how he looks, Goreguts looks, and I feel like there's a chance that he might be in the game next edition, or at least that ability. We already have it in the teleporter. This guy doesn't have that much more flesh. So let me move on to a different homie. This guy at least get dried off a little bit. Another guy messed up. This dude right here. Funky looking. Yes, you can make fun of me. It's okay. Yeah. I had to just get painting done. So today when I played with the Killicans, how'd that go? Well, it was, a good W for the Orcs, but partially it was because I felt like the enemy kind of didn't understand, even though I kind of explained to him how the army damage output would really look like, and how much it would take to kind of kill the Killicans. So he overcommitted some with the Killicans, and he brought out Slaughterbound and these other guys and crashed into the big unit because it was search and destroy. He was right in my face. So he was able to just crash into me with some stuff. And I was like, all right, I'll take this, but always have response. I have all these bunch of units, different setup stuff to respond. And so I did, and it was nice and victorious. The runs out of momentum before he's able to kill enough of my stuff. tank busters taking down forge fiends and such. But I'm not sure how that would work, being such a slow army, and the list I was running didn't have Mandos, and didn't have Zagra, Wartsnaga, didn't have Snickrot. You know, a lot of the kind of like the core units that I would advise people to play with right now. And I was like, well, what happens if I go against my own advice type thing, right? Just because other people do play like that. You know, there's people who don't, you know, necessarily care for those kind of things and think I'd rather just go for straight damage. Oops, and it was like that was a little ugly. You know, and that's fine. Everybody has their own preference. Like I always tell people, my stuff is just whatever I tell you or bring up is more just a suggestion. Always play to your preference and your strength, but if I tell people to be open to things, I got to be open to things too, right? So I was just trying it out. Like maybe I'll just try not to play, you know, something without gas, something without Snickrot and Zod and all these epic characters. What do I run? I might as well just try this list out right now. That being said, I kind of missed the lads. So we'll see about that. Yeah, and like you're saying right now in chat, some people don't care about tournaments. They're like, no, I don't care, dude. I'm just playing whatever I want to play with. Like, all right, sweet. Love that. That's a relaxed, awesome, casual, appreciate like a long term way to play enjoy 40K and not get stressed out or bothered or annoyed by all the changes, and kind of feel like you're always working to keep up with what's new and what's changing. And some people say, oh, well, that's great, keeps me involved and keeps the game healthy. And we're seeing that's true. There's truth in that as well, right? So it's just what do you feel like getting out of it? And as long as you know that before you get to the table and you agree to things, that's what matters, right? Because it's bad when someone is at a tournament and then they realize they don't want to be competitive and they just want to play more of whatever they feel like playing and however they feel like playing. And then it just doesn't make it as enjoyable, right? It's playing of the game is meant for two people to have enjoyed at the same time and kind of come to some mutual agreements on how we're going to spend our time together, right? Like the gentleman I played today, never met him before. No, just happened to just get a game in. So that was sweet. And let's go here. What else is chat saying? Love my narrative games. Yeah. We did a video about the Crusades, like playing Crusade mode with orcs, and it seemed pretty sick. Being able to play like legend units and then also bring enhancements from other orc detachments and throw them into another orc detachment. So you can play Warhorde and actually have like a tactical brigade enhancement in there and have a that unit. So that'd be freaking awesome. Yeah, rumors of bases changing as well. Yeah, for sure. I imagine that maybe they go up, but I feel like they have to give them more. I mean, we just got these tank busters, and they're you know, they're the same size as the Mega Noms, so there's a chance that they don't, right? Yeah, it is odd though that like the knob leader guy, even though they're because it's weird because they'll act like tank busters are knobs, but they're not knobs, even though they look like knobs. And then they did make the tank buster leader character. I don't have one over here next to me. I'll do it. Yeah, I do. Right, they make the guy that can either have pistols and such larger than the typical Breaker Boy, and he's supposed to be like the knob, for example. But currently, he has all of the same stats. Why am I not focusing? Sorry, guys. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll focus in a second. There you go. Right, so much smaller. Well, he doesn't act like a knob yet. Yet his base is significantly larger. So there's a chance that they're going to go up to something like this, but their data sheet needs to reflect a difference between something like this, right? So if a knob goes up, then what place does a Breaker Boy have? Right? What place does a knob have? Does the knob end up just full of tank hammers? Right? Like, but these guys have tank hammers. So what weapon would it be? That's the kind of thing I was also crossing my mind. What kind of overlap are we actually going to get here if the knobs change? And if they're going to change in size, what would it be for? Like, they're going to have Breaker Boys that are the same profile generally, but, you know, knob type little bodies. I don't know. So we'll see. Because, of course, according to GW, Breaker Boys and Tank Busters are not knobs. Oh, well. We'll see about that for how long that goes up for. Ever just run one shot jump to sneak an objective? Sticky, not. I mean, you can't sticky a shock jump, can't sticky, but I've had a couple times where a shock jump somewhere when I need it, threatens the backfield. Recently I'm more pay for snick rot, but I still appreciate anybody who plays with the shock jump. I mean, he's cool. And a little bit more LC, a little bit more killing potential, obviously at range. But he's super unreliable at killing anything, right? He's huge. But I like my shock jump, bro. And I really like buggies. Trust me. Even though they're not currently on my competitive quote unquote cultist speed list, that doesn't mean that I don't appreciate my buggy games, because when I was using buggies for a while, I had so much fun when my buggies did do their thing, when they did take more damage than they really should have, and drew more of the enemy's attention than they deserved, or spiked a bunch of damage when they shouldn't have, right? So I love playing buggies. So if you like your buggies, definitely run with them, dude. They're awesome. And they're great looking models. Generally, people are happy to see them because they've never seen them before. It's too. That happens also. Like, what is that, man? It's a Boondoggle Snazwagon. They're like, did you just make that up? Right? What is that? You just make that name up, bro? Like, is that what you call it? No, that's the name. That's the data sheet. Yeah, they do. Yeah, like they're saying in chat, calls the buggies hold you back. But if you're not being the most competitive, or you're being just kind of like local competitive, you can definitely play with buggies and do decent and maybe like crusades and such like that. Chat's going fast, so I started to pay attention with them. How come your Meganob doesn't have any armor? What do you mean doesn't have any armor, boy? He's all armored. Only his arms are not armored. That's enough. His arms are the armor, dog. Let's see. Team events. Yeah, team events as well. Yeah, that cult to speed list I said would be better at teams event. Name something for Arcane to work on. All right, chat. What should Arcane work on? Everybody say it right now. Should we let's get it together? I think if I had to put something forward for Arcane to work on, he has to paint a character. And if you don't have a character, then I really don't know what you have that can be painted right now. Something that you can get done so you can feel like it was worth it. Let's see. Another ugly boy. I have a bunch of these ugly boys that are not painted yet. Convert an orc from AOS. Yeah, and the thing is, I was looking for my brutes, my brute AOS brute guys. So yeah, I have no idea where I misplaced that, but I did have those guys as well. Like right here. Sorry. I have these are kill saws, right? For those said brutes. So I'm on the same page with you. I'm on the same page. For now, though, I do still have enough Meganobs. They're just not. I mean, it's just I just came across a bunch of Meganobs, but yeah, they have different loadouts, right? Some have the kill saws, some of them have the power claws with the shooters. And when I do, which sometimes in Bully Boys, there's a chance that you do run like, well, this guy's gonna be one power claw, one kill saw. I kind of want to have more models that are at least distinguishable for my opponent. So that's what I'm kind of working on right now. At least for the Meganobs. Even though Meganobs don't feel the best, but if I'm going to play Bully Boys, I'm still going to run them probably, to be honest. So if I'm playing Bully Boys, they're probably the only thing that's worth the strats other than maybe, re-rolling hits if you have a Gaz near you on the big 10-man knob, or the fight on death, Look at this boy. Ugly. Don't worry, guys. It's just the first coat of just to get all that other stuff I put on them. And I tried to come up with something for his claw, and then he ended up just shiny, ugly claw. So I got to repaint that. So bear with me on my not great paint skills. I got another guy. He has no paint on him yet. Yeah, because sometimes, like, man, what do I want these Meganobs to be like? Here's one of my breaker boys. Boom, nice and simple. Sorry, Bama's not going on him. Nice and simple. I still got to finish his faith and stuff, but at least to just be ready for what they're ready for. They're fine. That's kind of the level I'd want to get it to a little more. We're working on basing. Basing is a good one to do too. There's definitely plenty of times I've done basing. when I'm just getting on here. There's enough flex to be in 40K setting for everyone to enjoy. Lately, my friend group has been playing on the Coliseum game mode. Yeah, Coliseum's actually pretty fun, guys. I've seen some guys playing at the game store, like a smaller game, also 40K. Highly recommend that. Playing smaller games, don't rush into 2K games. And the restrictions help you kind of have to use your tools a little bit and play the game quick. Bunch of quick reps, get familiar with data sheets, set up more simple game plans and mechanics that you want to try, and then, yeah, I think it's a good way to let your collection kind of feel longer too, right? When you only have 3K points around 2K games, you're just kind of playing the same exact thing. But when you got a little bit of everything and then you play Coliseum, you're like, well, I can mix that up and just kind of play a little bit, dabble in other detachments in a fun way. Purple made it too stealthy. Yeah, they are purple. Yeah, they are. It is stealthy. That's the Mega Nub. These guys were a print. Then I have the GW ones as well. But yeah, these guys are a print. Because I wanted the twin kill saw guys. So I got 6 of those dudes. How many bases are too many? Oh, how many bosses are too many bosses? I don't know. They have your characters like on your list. I don't know. Some people really like to go crazy. I'm trying not to sneeze, guys. Sorry about that. I have so many Mega Knobs, but they're just not interesting to paint on mass. Yeah, that's how I feel right now with these Mega Knobs. That's why I've been putting them on and like off. Sorry, I said on. That's why I've been putting them off. And I was like, well, if I'm gonna paint these guys and not, have a huge passion for it, then I'm gonna chill with you guys while I do it. So it's gonna be more interesting as well. So thanks for bearing with me while I get a little bit more paint on these guys. Of course, I'm just trying to get battle ready standard. I'm a sweaty, try hard, meta chasing, orc player. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, just trying to get it to battle ready at least. That way I can just kind of pop through the detachments to play the different lists that I want to play at events and not worry about it. And then come back and fix stuff with time. Right. Which is something that, seems to go by really fast when you're trying to get stuff done. You're like, oop, I need to catch up on all this hobbying I have now. Now I have all these models all of a sudden. Like I was feeling really good about, oh man, I have like everything painted for my stuff. Then I checked, oh, I still have 20 individual Beast Snagger boys that need to get painted as well. They're just straight up gray, not even primed right now. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about you guys. Sorry. Forgot you guys. Forgot about this other 4-man squig unit that I got to paint, but they're not even primed. So yeah, I started looking. I was like, man, I had a little bit more stuff than I expected. I really thought I had gone through this. Yeah. So what else you guys going on? Tell me what you guys are working on in chat. Let me check what the poll said. Do you like so far still? I mean the votes doubled, but the gas is definitely winning on that. So that's pretty cool. So that's good for me to know as well. That way if I play them in after action reports or I play lists that revolve around gas, I know that it's not boring necessarily for you guys to see gas all the time. Right. Not ever, I know this is just a small pool of people, but I do think a good amount of people are actually happy that they can play gas. And if you don't have a big collection necessarily and you don't want to pay for a bunch of the same kit over and over, it feels good to just pay for gas and get good money per dollar point value out of your model. So yeah, I appreciate that as well. But then it comes down to like, do I want to play my gas and bully boys right now? Ooh, part of me is like, you absolutely have to, otherwise he doesn't hit hard. The unit, the attachment doesn't hit hard enough, right? So there's a chance, but then it's also, well, dang, dude, you got a lot less stuff. But who else would you rather have than gas, right? If I'm paying those points, especially in bully boys, like, oh, come on, dude, I get into a second wall with gas, just keep running at you. So yeah, that's what I look forward to. Chances are I just run big units with gas, or one or no characters, and one or two characters only on the list for tank busters instead. Tank busters, mega knobs. Oh, and someone's talking about, do I want to look at a list? Yeah, I can talk about a list probably too. Also, let's see. We can maybe talk about some lists too. We're going 45 minutes? Oh, we still got time. sent a list in the channel members chat. Okay, for Coliseum, yeah, we can look at that. You have Snail's channel, Discord chat reactions. What do you mean chat reactions? Yeah, we can play Speed Freaks after this. Yep. Guys, definitely let me know in the Discord. Who was going on? What's up, Jank? It would be different if he had been meta necessary the whole edition. Yeah, that's true too, right? If he would have, he was always kind of playable and considerable, which is the cool part. He was in consideration a lot of the time. Like for me personally, when the Catans had the uppy downy shenanigans, when they could drop, close and pick their guys up and drop right next to you in the field, all over the field during that meta time, I was strictly playing Gaz with, accompanied with like 20-man and 10-man units of beast snagger boys around me. Or I was playing Dread Mob because I was like, these are the best ways to kill these stupid Catan spamming armies. And here we are now, and they're back, and you're like, guess what I have on my list? Gaz. Oh, you have these tough infantry units? Gaz. Gaz solves a lot of those problems that we lacked, So that's pretty awesome in there. Sorry, I'm making a mess with my stuff. Let me look at maybe what people are talking about with Discord, if in the list. I can talk about chat if you guys don't mind. What's going on here? Trying to get 2 Breaker Boys done. 2 Breaker Boys, the units, or the boys, the models? Yeah, because I have the full 6-man unit right here that needs to get done. I don't know if I need to finish them necessarily because I'm not running Breaker Boys on my list right now, but at some point they do need to be done, definitely. Don't see the list in the chat, in the member chat on Discord. So maybe post it again or at me right now if you guys want me to react to something in the chat right now. Oh, what's good? Dr. Jazz, thank you for the $5 super chat. Whoa! I appreciate that. Very grateful, very humbling. And it means a lot. So thank you very much. Thank you for supporting the Great Wall. With 11th edition on the way, what models do you recommend a new orc player pick up, given some of the models might be refreshed? I don't have any cans yet. Okay, well, cans I think are one that are going to be pretty safe and all right. We did do a video also on this if you wanted to hear us rant about it with Red Ones Goes Faster, where we just went through a whole bunch of different possibilities, things that could come up, and what we really in-depth, like thought out answers on that, because that was the point of that video. But with that being said, so I can still answer. One is, I think anything Beast Snagger related is obviously still pretty solid. Those are new. Units that I would stay away from would be like Luda boxes, like the Luda / Burner Boys. I think those are kind of old right now. The Knobs, I think, are kind of old right now. The Truck, those are just a couple to name a few. I think Flash Kits should be pretty solid. They're fine. I think the Walkers are going to be okay. I don't know why they would or if they would change the Death Dread. Even I do think he's kind of a little dated, but I don't think they're going to do something about it. Like they're not going to Primaris Death Dread, right? So that's not going to happen. So if I had to say what else off of my head, I don't know. In the video, I did talk more about those, but just think about it, looking over at my wall now. I mean, Commandos are beautiful. They're new. They should be good. Anything that came out, I mean, Buggies are still solid to get to, even though Buggies are one of those things that's like, well, having just one isn't necessarily going to do it. If you want to lean towards that style, eventually over time, then yeah, you could tend to be sick. But Buggies would be another one that they're a little bit newer of kits. Titanic Walkers, if you can get them some kind of discount or deal, always look secondhand for orcs, because people a lot of the time pick them up and think like, I'm going to try this army, and it ends up taking a lot of work hobbying wise and kind of figuring out, and or people get them a store credit for the same reason and such and have them as secondhand. So you never know, right? There's also why I say it's good to be social, because you never know who you know and meet that they can hook you up with more orc models. Honestly, it's just so weird how you'll see people that are like, yeah, I got these orc dudes that I got because I thought I could make an orc army. I heard that so much, guys. That's also why I made the channel, because I was like, I almost started orcs more than, hey, I play orcs. So yeah, thank you for joining the Great Wall, man. And I love my cans. I mean, I have cans right here. I was thinking of getting some other ones from Corn guys. What are they called? Chrome Tech. Sorry guys, you can see my arms. It's not the right thing. Yeah, I think it's Corn like minis. Yeah, KROMLECH. Yes. So that place, I was thinking of picking up some orc like Killer Can style models from there, maybe. So I don't know. That would be kind of sweet. For the last 6-man unit, because I want them to be different, right? I want my units to be very obvious. So yeah, I totally think you should get some Killer Cans on there. Any of those things. I would stay just I always say that the orcs don't lean too hard into one style. Like, don't try to max out what kind of unit too much, because you'll probably burn up a bunch of your hobby model budget, but then you'll be really strictly confined to that kind of unit and play style, and you might not like it. So kind of spread it out, play some more horde where you can get a little useful out of those things, and then watch some videos and how you can figure out how to integrate other type units. So thank you very much, Jazz. I appreciate that. Hopefully that answered your question a little bit. But we also have that video you can check also. It was sweet. And people have a lot of other stuff, right, in the chat that they can mention. Don't get a weird boy from the characters. I think we're getting a new war boss. Don't get a war boss. I think the shock attack gun should be fine. Obviously, the beast snagger character should be fine. Gas, all that stuff should be good. Yeah, so sweet. I see what else the guys are saying. Oh yeah, Cormlech, exactly. This is so you can remember this is how it's spelled. If you want to Google it, or anybody else that is new, I think it costs a bit more though, especially if you're over here from the States like me. I was looking at it just briefly, trying to see if they have any more of those Killer Can type models, but hey. Yeah, like people are saying, get some old Dreadnoughts or Gorkanauts. These guys are a little funky, ugly green, but they got a little bit on them. Okay, see, there's a guy who messed up his claw, where he's like now just a shiny claw. So that looks funny. I wonder if I can just go over it with purple, just to kind of blot it out. Buy 3 trikes and 18 bikers. Totally not biased. Yeah, right. Totally. I wonder what he's trying to get us to play. Now, I do actually have that. Thank Orc and Mork. I can play that style, and it's very fun. But most people don't have that such a hard, deep skew. And yeah, if you lean into that, then guess what you're going to play all the time, regardless of how fun it is or how much you like it. So, yeah. And this is the paint I'm using, guys. Acryl Pro. And I think someone mostly ghostly. Okay, I see you in the chat. Let's see what you have that I want to take a peek real quick at. With his Coliseum, 500 points. I mean, this is pretty straightforward, guys. He has 2 20-man units of boys, a pain boy, and a war boss. So are these going to be... Is your idea here to put both of them in one unit? At least in Coliseum, I know you can advance and shoot, advance and do actions with your infantry. And so that's pretty cool. Very niche skew. Definitely can't hide it all. Can get alpha struck kind of easily in that Coliseum. Speed's very important. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that necessarily. But tell me where your characters are going. And if you played that, let me know. Because it's funny, I thought about doing that. At the same time, people don't really have necessarily all the time what it takes to kill a bunch of 20 boys that are going to be respawning and punching them back. But some people really do if they play like some weird CSM stuff. I've had it where they just throw out all crazy damage. But most armies don't have enough to deal with 2 20-mans. Just straight march them down the field next to each other, have one heroic for each other, tag up everything in the middle, start to sticky it, and then bust everybody that responds to you. I mean, yeah, that could work, bro. Might as well. It's a small battlefield, so all you gotta do is move once and then just run into everything. So shout out to that Coliseum list. That'd be pretty sweet. 1 point war boss, 1 war boss in one unit, 1 pain boy in the other. Make one like the hammering unit, one that kind of survives a little bit longer. Yeah. But the point is, you can, that's cool too. Keep the one that has the war boss safer, so can I get shot? Pain boy 1 in the line of fire, tanks more damage, grows some dudes back. moves a little closer from the growing, and then get up the field and declare a WAAAGH. Sounds good to me. Most people would be like, I can't believe you actually did that. I personally try not to do that because I was trying to let my friends have a good time. But at the same time, a green tide's a good time for us, right? Let's see. Yeah, he says I have almost a full Cult of Speed collection. That is definitely admirable. Because I know it took a while to definitely get that going. And I too almost have a full Cult of Speed collection. I am missing one of the buggies though. It is the Boom Daka Snaz Wagon. I realized that's the one buggy I ended up not actually having, surprisingly. Which I was like, wow, I actually don't have one of the buggies because I have 3 of every other buggy. So I was like, how did I end up not having a buggy? That's a lot of paint. Oh, what's up? My GSC list runs like Ham Flamer Horde style list. Yeah, there's our Horde style list that do well right now. Right now is a good time for the Horde players. Oh, I just put green in there, guys. I was spacing out. Hordes are a good call, and then the meta gets kind of deep like that of elite. I'm gonna kill you, gunline, tank, hull spam kind of armies. People just run out of stuff and dice to kill everything with. You just start rapping and trapping, playing primary, denying until you're dead, and then you're like, all right, well, I won on primary though, and you didn't score in your secondaries. All right, let's see how this goes. This is what I like about this acryl paint. You see that I'm putting it on here. I don't have like a wet palette. Normally I do paint with the wet palette, if you guys are wondering. But when I play with this acryl, I'm just doing like a basing. It kind of works out. And I do want to get rid of this. I shouldn't mix it with something a little darker to darken it up because it looks pretty light right now to me. But once it dries, we'll see how it looks. I'm trying to go over this weird metallic color that I had put on one day when I was done. Yeah. Let's see what else. Chat saying old dreadnoughts are timeless. Yeah, I remember I was super excited when I finally got a Gork, a Mork, and a Sampa. I had the trio. I do only have one of each, like one Gork, one Mork. So maybe eventually over time when the Gual power is then big enough, I have multiple Gork and Morks. But right now, just one Gork, one Mork, and 2 Stampas. I do need. That claw probably does need to. Should have stayed metallic. I should make that purple. You guys actually still see from there a little bit. You can see my ugly work, but you're seeing it though. If I can do this, you can paint and hobby whatever you're doing and feel comfortable and motivated. Because I'm not a good painter by any means, but we do it for the love of the wall, right? I'll tell you what, when I had all that the cans on the field, it was pretty fun. Even though one of those units wasn't fully painted, of the 18, it was pretty sick to be like, look at all these cans. My opponent was just like, dang, right? So I mostly use contrast and speed paints. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, it's basically exactly this paint Pro Acryl is pretty solid, just coming straight out the bottle when you're just base painting it nice and thin enough. So I got rid of that little weird metallic arm that I put on my boy. I put on my boy on myself. Let's see. These guys, I was supposed to already have put green. I think I have to put green on right now. There's a chance that I'm going to spill it all over and get it onto other parts and surfaces. Totally hope I don't. But every time I look at these breaker boys, I'm like, why did I stop at that point? I need to finish them. What else people going right now in chat? Oh, okay. Let's see what chat poll's doing right now. Okay, chat poll's increased again. Now that there's a slight difference now where it's not so it is still pretty skewed, but it wasn't that completely one-sided. Now it's 20% saying no. So a little bit has changed, just a smidgen. But someone has a good point here with my boy Random. In regards to the random poll, I started playing a month after Mordaka got nerfed into the ground, and a lot of people didn't like Gaz because he wasn't worth it in points, and I still ran him. If people are losing him now, it's fine. It's Gaz. Yeah, some people how they feel right now. They're Gaz. When he was just exclusive to Mega Knobs and Mega Knobs costed more, because remember Mega Knobs did come down a little bit. When it was both that, right? That and it was like, okay, he doesn't feel like it. This is kind of feel bads when I have to take gas with these overpriced Mega Nubs. Now, are Mega Nubs still a little overpriced? Absolutely. I think they should come down to like 150 for a 5-man unit, but you know, we'll see what GW does. They're all over the place here at the end of the edition, to be fair, guys. So that's why we should just play whatever we feel like playing and getting used to the fundamentals and the points of the game. And you guys should all be hobbying, because the last thing you want is to go into next edition and be like, ooh, I didn't paint enough of my stuff up, right? Just saying. I promise. I promise. That's the one promise I make to you. Because they start coming out new models and all this different stuff, and you don't have it painted, you're always going to be the, well, I have all these guys, but then you're never going to be able to catch up because they're going to be dropping new releases, and you're going to be trying to incorporate those new releases into your armies, into your list. And then, the other guys are going to just fall to the wayside because you're going to be like, well, I already have some of them, so I'll just make my list work with some of them. But then suddenly they're going to get a buff, and you're going to be like, well, I need that unit now, and I need the max amount that I have, that I never worked on, and you're going to pull them out of the dustbin. And then you're going to be like, well, now it's the time to use these units. Like people with Mega Nubs and Bully Boys came out, and then they started running them, and then boom, they got nerfed right away again. So it's like, just get ahead of the pack and just, when it's a good time, which is now, get in there and get your stuff done. All right, and I'm here with you for it. So go ahead and just get stuck in. Because trust me, it takes all of us a little bit to kind of settle down sometimes and just start painting, right? Some people, all right, he's made my first mistake. If I had a Q-tip, I would just take that off. I can do it here, guys. Watch me fix it. That didn't work fully, but it worked enough, I guess. Also, yes, I watched Lord of the Rings, and I'm excited about it. All right, cool. Sweet. But it takes forever to watch Lord of the Rings, right? So I have to like watch it in increments, like small increments. So I'm trying to get close and look, but then I'm also like, well, there's the mic. So, let's see. Let's see if I can set this up. You guys don't even need to see my big head necessarily, but I guess you guys want to look at it. So, what is that? All right, camera. All right, camera. Time for you to work. Not working that well. Should I speak to you like if I was Bob Ross, right? The painter. Shout out to Bob Ross. Well, guys, here I got an orc boy, and this orc boy is soon to be a knob. That's how I feel like Breaker Boys are. Breaker Boys won't be called knobs, but they're just like the boys that are a little bit bigger and they're almost on their way, kind of like a Scar Boy. But that's what I really need to. I need there to be a real differential between my knobs, my boys, my snaggas. I always tell like snaggas were a little bit thrown in there. Like, what are you? Like, you're not, a necessarily different orc boy, are you? But you're not a knob or anything, or you're not a hard boy. Like, you're just a snake bite. I mean, no. So yeah, that's something I also want to see as well. When we do get these differences, I want the Mega Knobs to be Mega Knobs. Make them big, make them like Centurion size. I mean, Centurions are a little outdated with how they look and weird size, but Mega Knobs can be big like that. Let the knobs be big, like this knob is, right? This knob compared to this Breaker Boy. You can think of this knob, the Breaker Boy, as the current knob, and this guy as the soon-to-be knob. Or if he's this big, he needs to do this big of damage. He can be huge like that, right? So, like I said, bump those Mega Knobs up to 4 wounds, boys. Bump them up. Bump them up. They don't get an invuln, only on the wall, I guess, but they don't get an invuln generally. And then they got a temporary feel no pain. Them always need another wound. All right, let's see. I didn't mess up issues too much. I picked that khaki out right there. I think that needs to be toned down a little bit, like hit with the wash. It's not focusing that well. Come on, camera. Focus. A little khaki right there. Now you guys can see. So I started to kind of work on it. Don't hate it, but we need to darken it a little bit. I got my little squig right here on the chair. Getting mad at me because the squig wants to fight. And I'm distracted. Okay. I'm actually trying to make sure I don't mess up this time, guys. I mean, it's not gray, but I mean, I'm getting it, right? We're getting it. If you're a painter right now, let me know what you're working on too. All right, here's the not fun part. When I try to get in this little crack without picking a smaller brush up, because I'm like I can do it, and then I don't do it. So that's it. Done. Oh, oh. Well, I did a little bit of it. All right, let's see if I can finish off what I've started. My laziness, not wanting to clean more brushes. I did it, guys. Looks like I did it. Oh, never mind. That's the right when I said that. Oh, yep, messed it up. All right, all right. Let's cut that out. Let's look at the chat. So I think Mega Knob should be the size of AdMac robots. That might be a little excessive because we have something called Def Shreds, and Def Shreds are already kind of small. But I like where your heart's at. You know, I appreciate that. That's what matters right now. I like where your heart's at. I've been spending more time hobbying energy into ALS and Conquest right now. Well, as long as you're doing it, as long as you're doing it, yeah. Shout out to the Paul, the the Rob Ross shout out. Yeah, you know, if I'm gonna speak in his tone, I'm very happy. Bring you guys in for a crumping. I'm waiting for the 2-hour video of when Paul happens with the. All right, I need to come up with the script for that now, boys. Let's see. Commandos knobs have all started the day. Practice took, yeah, running. I really like how Mandos look. I think most people can agree with that, dude. I appreciate them upgrades. So I was painting and I spilled. No. This is what happens when you don't drink water during your game. I went straight from the game to streaming. And I was like, ooh, I don't drink any water during my game or before. Yeah, so I was saying here, I wanted to say, spill this Nuln oil. No, that's always the worst thing when you spill your Nuln oil, bro. Oh, breaks my heart. I remember the first time that happened to me. I actually have the little cups. What the heck did I do with my little cup? Right here. Right. Get yourself some little cup holders for your paints. Totally worth it. At first, I was like, I don't need that. Just like I felt like I didn't need this brush handle, right? And I ended up getting that. I actually like it. I use it. I have Dewey use it. Yeah, and I was gifted a bigger one, so I use that too. All right, first breaker boy at least got here we go. Painting Octarius terrain. Dude, I wish Octarius sector had more time. Oh, I gotta get their fingertips. I wish Octarius sector had a little bit more time in the sun, like more attention in the lore and things thought out and written about and videos done about it. I mean, sounds corny, but my orc army is kind of based off the Octarius sector paint scheme to a degree because I have a Tyranids army. My Tyranids army is also purple. So my Tyranid army is also purple and blue, and my orcs are like a purple and red, kind of off a little bit of blue also. Kind of showing that they slowly adopted each other's colors as they fought each other consistently. That's the point of why I picked that scheme. And now it's like, well, no one talks about the Octarius sector. You're still talking about the Octarius sector, bro? That's over. Like, all right, whatever. I thought it was sick. I thought it was awesome. So, deserve more attention. You know, I guess I'm gonna have to start writing videos of lore too, guys, and start writing over my own stories, so I can have them. You know what I mean? That's how this channel came to be. Also, just not enough orc players, and I wanted to hear people talk about orcs more. I was like, all right, fine, I'll do it. Yeah, I've been loving the War Boss book. Yeah, so that's a really good book to start with. It's a good spread, good variation of bosses and characters to kind of interact with and follow along with. Good little grot side story involved in there. So yeah, awesome. Good with that, dude. I think we did a short about books that I enjoyed also. So the most recent was that Mad Doc book. So, I almost want to do a video about that, what I felt about that. and I know it's like, to be honest, I think the community's like a good 50-50 whenever I do polls about that. Do you want to see something related to the lore? And people are kind of like, it's literally 50-50. Like, I don't follow the lore at all type thing. Some people do, which is fine. Just saying. My orc army is pink, very pink, bright pink. I feel like that might be a good color with your green. Yeah, I like bright colors nonetheless. Don't know if I would go pink, right? Personally, but I've seen that before. I've seen them before. I've seen a bunch of different stuff because green really just pops like that. And yeah, like yellow. Yellow is also another color that just really pops, and people tend to really be drawn into that. But then when I actually started to paint yellow, I was like, oh gosh, oh that's some real effort. Never mind with that. So then I started to give up on that. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll go for a golf scheme, right? And I was like, that seems kind of easy. But then I realized I really liked seeing my models kind of pop out and stand out and be very bright colored. So then I started moving back into that. Even though I know technically for us, purple is the stealthy color. For the rest of the galaxy, it's, not necessarily a stealthy color. It's just, a nice color. And my boys don't know that. So they get green, I get something nice to look at. Everybody's happy. Let's go. This. All right. He's coming together. Sometimes I need this guy to stand in for different units, because I have my tank busters, and some of the models have 2 pistols, and then this guy has the hammer, Sometimes I want my tank busters to have the hammer character with them instead. Get this going. Yeah, this time I'm making sure that I actually paint with you guys, because there's times where I did like barely any kind of painting at all because I was too distracted with the chat, talking to everybody. It isn't necessarily a bad thing, but if I'm telling you I'm going to paint, you're going to be painting with me, and I don't paint, well then, what happened, right? 2 birds, 1 stone. Get me ready for the event, for battle ready, and talk to the chat. As for how I feel about 18 cans, man, people always needing something kind of pretty tough to just dislodge this can unit or the random little death copters I had on the list. Also having to consider that they want to go for the trucks, but if they go for their trucks and the cans are kind of left without anything. But the amount of firepower with all the rockets on the list is pretty insane as well. But with all that being said, the list felt really slow, and I'm really not into being so slow. Typically I at least want some fast pieces, or I want some infiltrators. Like I was saying earlier when I was talking about it, I was trying to just think outside the box and bring stuff to other people tend to like, and not everybody plays the game the same way. And I was like, I'll try without it. But man, I felt kind of naked. The game ended up working out in my favor. Still, just the amount of crazy rockets and damage coming from the army means that if anybody gets close, they kind of end up getting shredded. But we'll see how it works out, right? I got a game tomorrow, nice and early. I got my little morning routine that I got to do first, and then I'm going to get the game right in early in the day against Space Marines. And I'm sure there's going to be Vindicators, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of elite infantry and plenty nice, good old-fashioned oaths. Might be Gilliman around somewhere. So, yeah. I'm sure there'll be a lot of stuff for me to go into with my army, but yeah. All right, I think this guy's his hand. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot his hand. Kansas rockets are great. It's true. And only one thing can armor contempt. The bad part for me is that only one of my things can throttle damage when I wanted to. That's like, say I want to reroll full hit rolls with the cans. Well, that unit he's obviously going to armor contempt with or something, right? But other than that, the rest of my units are still hitting pretty hard and can still do some crazy damage to him. And he can't armor contempt everything. So, but he will get armor saves to everything. Other than my shock attack guns, let's go. There's nothing that's so awesome. Like when, let's say I shoot that Vindicator tomorrow. Ha ha. Shout out. And I hit him. I'm gonna be like, okay, ignore cover, -5 AP for my shock attack gun because the pulsar rocket, right? So ignore cover. Yeah, and I'm assuming he has a Vindicator. I don't know exactly if what he has and everything on his list, but I feel like every Space Marine list I've been playing to has Vindicators for good reason. So I'm just saying that typically Vindicators are like, dang, you're actually going to be taking still some good saves. Well, the one thing the Vindicator doesn't like to see is a shock attack gun with ignore cover lining up shots on it and just being like, oh, okay, well, you'll just die now. The only other thing is, of course, there's the smoke involved and such, which then makes you miss Tactical Brigade. What happened to our Tactical Brigade and more DACA? But the real focus is playing the 18 cans, right? And like, even if you're killing other stuff, you just either let the button be random or you roll the button out, choose, sustain lethal, whatever, when you shoot your other cans and just saturate just ton of the different rockets coming downfield. Shoot, even the Dev Copters. I mean, did they do any damage? Actually, no. They even failed their charge and then died, but they didn't get completely killed. And but the thing is, the enemy kind of had to account for that too. So they were scared to come out because, well, what if these rocket comes and takes firing lanes and these chucks move up, and when the chuck moves up, the tank busters jump out and they get in the firing lane and they start laying out into my tanks. So if the enemy's being a little too cagey, you just start taking the initiative from them with at least taking firing lanes and blowing them up, because sometimes people are like, oh, that is a lot of stuff. On the other hand, they could disrespect you, run onto the open, and that's what I'm saying. Then you got the other stuff that can come out, which is all tank busters help with that. So we'll see how the list goes tomorrow. Play it a little bit more, and see if I want to go back to my style that I like, that you guys have seen in videos of 12 cans, or if I should just stay with the full, can wall style thing, right? What do you guys got to say right now? Do you have an airbrush, man? I do actually have an airbrush. It's how I painted my 100 boys. Do I do any like very detailed painting or kind of cool features in my paint with it? No, I never spent the time to learn that. I literally just spent the time to do that so I can paint large batches of boys and get all their base colors done and get them battle ready. That's the whole point of why I bought them. Not saying that you shouldn't do it. I'm saying that me personally, I was just like, I didn't feel like learning. It is another, kind of skill that you develop and you'll use it, and it's a useful skill, right? To for your hobby. But I'm just saying, I was like, no thanks. And so now it's in my closet, my airbrush, and chilling. And I might bust it out for bust it out. Sorry, I'm talking slang. I might take it out for my snaggers that I got to paint, for example, I just spoke about. There's a batch of them. I want to get them done. Boom. Maybe I'll just do all those guys and just get all of their armor done and all of their skin done. And then after that, I'd move back to a brush. Not because I'm so skilled with the brush, as you guys can see, none of you are impressed, but just because I just feel like hitting the parts I want to hit with it. Let's see what else chat saying. Contact with that. I almost want to put I dropped on. How do I add myself to the channel member chat? Through the Discord, I think, in the description, and then from there. Oh, that's a good question. I'm not really 100% sure how you do that. Sync with that channel. Let's see. Can Rockets, 4 claws. This weekend I'm going to be someone's first game of 40K. I'm trying to decide if I play the Stomper for the heck of it. He's a brand new Tau player. Well, they can one-shot you. So if you definitely don't mind him one-shotting you, sure, go ahead, be down. Have fun with it. And the thing is, they have such a redundancy typically of stuff that maybe you'll be like, well, I can kill like 2 of your tanks, but you're still going to have a lot of stuff to respond with. Yet, if he has a beginner collection, he might not have that firepower to deal with the Stompa, right? He might not have that redundancy that I just mentioned, which means when that vehicle comes out to play, if it doesn't go hard and shoots at the Stompa and doesn't really hurt it enough, then oopsie, he might just, make it one-sided game. At the same time, though, Tau are notoriously known for one-shotting that kind of unit. So more likely than not, he'll be able to kill it. So do I want to? Did you want to take it? Yeah, it's definitely a way to just let him roll his dice. So I think that's a good way to kind of figure it out. Just kind of let him roll his dice. It is a bit of a skew, though, as long as you look at his kind of collection and you know that either one, he has just enough to kill you, or two, he's going to absolutely one shot you, or three, that he can't deal with you. So it's up for you to kind of determine. And then from there, you'll know. If not, then just run Gorkanauts and Morkanauts. They're quite, ineffective. So then, they're not that good. So you can use those units, and it's doing the same thing as a Stampa in a way of being like a not ideal unit and an easy focusable target for Tau, but if they accidentally survive, they're not going to be as potent as if a Stampa survives and starts just decimating multiple vehicles. But like I said, typically Tauless have stuff that just is still alive. Yeah, hopefully I crumped that girly get him in. And Ultra Smurfs. Usually I do get good games into them. Let's see. Airbrushing, yep, good for batch painting. And I don't want to do setup. But yeah, I think airbrushes are cool if you're doing a lot of stuff, especially if you have a lot of backlog. Oh, man, I made a huge increase in of my painted models once I got an airbrush, and I just started finishing everything, especially when I first figured it out. And I just started getting everything just ready and done and brought up to speed so that I could play it in places, and it was absolutely worth it. Even though it took a little bit of time to set up, right? That's always what I tell people. Just dang, man, I know some people just don't have time, but if you are, lucky enough to have time that you can try to figure out more stuff like that, I say do it, because it's a long-term investment for when you have less time and you develop the skill on your downtime to increase the speed you can actually get stuff done. So yeah, that's been a help, being able to airbrush. That's been a help to stop me from being so behind on my painted models. Right? Because I used to have a bunch of stuff that needed to be painted, right? If if you collect a bunch of orcs and you have a bunch of stuff, very easy to start just falling behind, right? 10-man units here. These models are very detailed with the def dreads and the killicans, and you start getting lost in the details and the little badges and buckles and clips and knickknacks and horns and skulls and faces and all that stuff. Suddenly you've been working on the model forever. You can very easily fall into that. I wouldn't say a trap. It's more like fall into that trance or love for orcs. So then I noticed that, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I just focus on getting stuff done. That way I can go back to my favorite stuff and start fixing it. Or I still have some of my old stuff, like my Salt and Black Reach War Boss that I painted him terribly, and I still have him. And I still have him exactly how he was painted. And I'm just like, I'm gonna leave him like that. All right. New paper towel here. Sorry guys, I touched the mic, so hopefully I didn't destroy anything. Let's see. Don't be that guy. I'm not doing it to win. I'll be playing the Stampa and top player that made his first game memorable. Yeah, people generally really actually like killing and playing the Stampa. And they always say it's a fun time whenever I play it or I talk to people who've played against it. But you do want to have at least a little insight that he might not accidentally not be able to kill it at all. And then it's just a one-sided thing. So, yeah. Yeah, and you really can run Gaz with a Big Mac. Put Gaz in the Big Mac, he gets access to the button from the Mac or the Big Mac that's with your 20-man unit of boys. Then that means you have access to the button, so you can press lethal or sustain on your boys. Of course, you also have actions to AP, but that's not going to stack with Gaz's ability of critical 5+ on the WAAAGH, which means you can choose to press sustain button. You have Makari's lethal aura available that's now being activated from the WAAAGH. So you have lethal, sustain, 5+, pseudo warhorde in Dread Mob with your 20-man unit of boys. Of course, you can give them Smoky Gubbins, which is an enhancement for 15 points that makes them stealth. So there's an innately stealth there. So I'll give them a little bit more durability. So yeah, it's totally a thing. Not that super common, but let's say I didn't take these 18 kilocans. What if I just took 12 and I found some more points? Maybe instead I just go with a big unit of Big Mac and I just decide, sure, these boys, I might lose half of them with the hazardous checks after this, but hey, but I'm going to crump you really hard anyway. So it could be a thing. The difference is you're playing Warhorde or you're getting access to the Warhorde rules. But if you choose to do the combo, there's a good chance you're going to just blow your own dudes up. At the same time, I've played that as well, and I've just let the dice roll some of my interactions, and getting additional AP, that kind of felt cool. I wouldn't say I recommend it, like it's this new awesome meta tool, but when you're so used to boys being -1 AP, you're like, these 15 wounds, these are -3 AP. You're like, oh, what just happened there? So that kind of feels kind of cool as well. So otherwise, the lethal aspect of the button almost never comes into play on the native units of Dreadmob. The other way you can make it work is like with Breaker Boys, where if you put a mech character with them and they do additional AP, then they can get -4 AP on their hammers. So, in your head that seems sick. It's just then you kind of get drop hits and you don't get sustain and you don't get +1 hit from the war boss and stuff. So there are offset like downsides to it, but other than that, the AP buff always seems like trash. Until you're like, oh, I got 20 boys and they're all punching and stuff. Then it's like, oh, okay, okay, that's pretty sick. Also, yes, look at I'm that guy that actually painted the guys with the punching arms. I forgot what they're called, but with the punching arms, I have both of them painted, and I use my old Tank Buster kit guys with the hammer as the guys with the Dev Wound hammer. So I was able to actually get these kits and still play with these guys that way. In case next edition, which GW likes to do, make these guys the main focus of the Breaker Boy as well. I actually have the model. So I have those guys too. Here's my other one, like I showed earlier, that actually is painted. Not that amazing, but he's battle ready. He's all right. He's a good boy. So let me get this next dude. Getting through these Breaker Boy units. Going a little slow, but we're going. Yeah, buy budget airbrush. Buy it. They get it to Badger. Yeah, it's better, and then they'll fix it. All right, yeah. I actually have a Badger also. That's a good tip. Yeah, if you play something that's more of an actual true list, you might accidentally just pick him apart. You can let him kind of take it like it's a boss battle where he's kind of running around the field trying to avoid the Stampa and hoping to kill it eventually over time. So I say run it as long as you know that he actually has stuff that can kill the Stampa and that your Stampa is not going to just bully him. Because if you play the Stampa, correctly, there's a chance that you kill no problem 2 of his tough units each turn, then shooting like little tough, relatively Tau tough, whatever the heck that means. And maybe even 3, right? You could do the Gatling shooter with big shells for bigger gets and shoot at one light armored, Tau vehicle. There's a chance that you just blend him with all those damage 3 from the Gatling. And then you could use the big super rocket to one shot or finish off a different vehicle, and then use the actual def cannon to annihilate his final tank or whatever unit. So it could go off if you're stacking the buffs like that. But like I said before, Tau technically have a lot of tanks, and you'll kill 150 point tank, and they'll have other ones. So that usually seems like it's a good thing. That seems like a good boss battle for a Tau player, in my opinion. Sorry, I'm making sure I get these done and let chat kind of fill back up. I focus good on chat right there, boys, because I know one time I left you guys unread for like 10 minutes or more, and it was like, oh shoot, I didn't realize you guys weren't talking. Get my boys going here. Let's go. What goes in his belly? What the heck? What goes in the Breaker Boy's belly? I don't know. You're talking about my belly? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that goes in his belly. Oh, the Stampa. What goes in the Stampa's belly? I I've taken Storm Boys in there because then they can kind of just jump out. They get that 3-inch additional disembark. And I've also had just a big 20-man unit grot unit, 22-man unit of grot units in my Stampa on the missions that he can get to the middle. And then I'll either just disembark them as like a big screen if it's a melee army and make them have a harder time getting in combat and shooting all those grots away. Or I'll just drop them to be an OC bomb. Or if people blow my Stampa up, well, then I've just dropped all these grots in the objective, and hopefully they'll hold the objective the next turn, even though my Stampa died. So, funny enough. So the answer to your question was Storm Boys, and grots, and then of course you could put boys in there. Boys are always good. I've seen people also put a Gaz in there. Yes, I've actually seen that at a tournament where an orc player took a Gaz and a Stampa at the event. That guy later became one of my Discord moderators. So that's why. Shout out to Jink. Okay, make sure I don't mess up behind the neck. Styling it up, boys. Getting these Breaker Boys ready to get overwatched. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go. I'm just joking. It just seems like that's happened to me. It was funny enough with these gets. That's why sometimes when I play Tactical Brigade, boy, I just want to have everything. What's up? Stampa seems Storm Boy is pretty good. Stampa super kills Katans, no problem at all. Well, we're getting a little late here, guys, so I'll finish up with this last dude. Maybe I'll look over the Dawn of War thing. Let's see if they have the other clip, maybe real quick. I won't watch the entire minute by minute thing, but after I finish this model, we can watch some of that and oh, there we go. Show some of the characters and such. A little bit of the stuff. Not everything, obviously, because not everybody's going to play that game. But let me finish my Breaker Boys and see what else is going on with you guys. Oh, this guy actually was missing his face. His helmet. Not good. Not good. But I did need to get this flesh done. All I've been doing is adding more details and then more likely messing them up. So this guy has a very, very, very small amount of flesh actually on him. He's like, no, I'm good. I don't need no flesh. Oh, dude. Okay. We'll let that boy be that way. And then we got one more Tank Hammer boy. Yeah, this gets ready. All right. We still playing speed. Yeah, we're gonna play Speed Freaks. Let's go. Anybody else in the channel Discord or anybody get in there? Speed Freaks, let's go. I'll take my contacts out for sure before I do that. Let's go, everybody. Get these Breaker Boys done. So I got some more skin on those Mega Knobs. All of these Breaker Boys now have skin. Technically, they're I think technically they're battle ready. Not that I would necessarily put them in. Well, for an RTT, probably I would. But you guys are technically ready now, right? They got the metallics, they got the pants, they got the shoes, and now they got the skin. So thank you for chat for being here while I get these guys at least the minimum battle ready. And then I got the Mega Knobs ready. Really, it's about making a list of bully boys that is utilizing the Mega Knobs, but also like finding some kind of good support. I thought about Squigs, but then the second unit with the other character always seems bad. Bringing one big break seems impossible to like deliver effectively. So there's stuff I'm definitely trying to figure out here. You know, people say Mobs of Boys. I liked Mobs of Boys when I did it, but Mobs of Boys don't seem to be cutting it with how hard people got to crump right now. At least not in the Bully Boys, right? They don't have enough buffs to other units to let them like punch up, right? So yeah, just that's why the Bully Boys. That makes me want to go check the poll again right now. We do got more channel members. We'll see if you guys messed the poll up. No, I'm just kidding. You guys got in on that poll. As for the Gaz poll, looks like you guys still kept it in. I'll end the poll after an hour. Looks like Gaz is the winner here, where his poll shows that he is still the beloved war boss of the community and that people actually like being focused about him. So that's great. I am interested in seeing what the community poll actually is polling at right now. They're actually absolutely tied. All right, guys. So if you're in here, you're watching, let people know, get voting. It looks like Dreadmon Bully Boys are both at the top, so I'm gonna have to do both because right now they're both perfectly tied, perfectly tied at 37%. So that answers that question for a bit, huh? Doesn't it? Now we can turn this off a little bit. Got some of that stuff done. I'm pumped. I'm going to be playing more of this Dread Mob right now with the Killicans, figuring out what I can do with my DACA downfield. As for what I'm going to do with Bully Boys, I'm open to suggestions, but I'm looking for a good time, even though it's not a long time. I even kind of thought about maybe some trikes. Not multiple, really just one, but faster than you on breakers. I feel like a normal truck's fine, and the breakers just kind of get out and do their thing. That's just my opinion. Also, then there makes the unit even more expensive for how small it is, and not my biggest thing, but it depends on what game size you're playing. Maybe 1,500 points. Maybe if that's your only anti-tank and you're playing Cult of Speed, maybe it would be more interesting. But generally, people find that just staging your truck well and then disembarking the 3 and advancing and charging is pretty good already. Just my opinion, because the enhancement is so expensive. Yeah. So I think most of these things are showing the same thing. I think we'll end it there. I think everybody got what they needed. I think we're getting pumped up. Did I reply to my cunning and brutal becoming a channel member? Whoa, let's go. Thank you very much. You get welcome back to the Great Wall. Welcome for being a channel member. I appreciate that very much. It means a lot. And with the content coming forward and the after action report we're doing. So thank you very much. I look forward to that. Looks like you're going to be seeing Dreadmon, and then you're going to see some Bullet Boys. So thank you very much to that. Remember, we got the paint competition going. So guys, get the paint competition going with the Tin Boys, or at least let people know about it so that they can get that done as well. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Hopefully you guys had a good time and got some painting in, got some stuff done. Also got a little bit excited for Dawn of War and what units might actually be coming into play. Not doing all these, what 11th edition is to bring next videos yet. I think there's a little bit more time left, and I'm enjoying what we got right now, guys. Right, the Dread Mob is one of my favorite detachments. We're gonna end the edition. I'm gonna go out playing one of my favorite detachments of the edition. That's exactly what I recommend for you too. There's models, detachments, units, combos that you really appreciate and had fun with. Run it. If you really like playing Squigs, but you also play Warhorde, take your Beast Boss on Squigosaur, give him Ed Wappa's Kill Chopper. Right, let him at least almost be intimidating to vehicles. Run up the field with some pigs, set up some cool heroics, have a good time. Run a Maz solo on his own. You know, do whatever it takes to just have a good time, guys, because what's the point of the hobby if you're not having a good time doing it? We don't do this to just play with lists that we've seen and just follow these certain limitations and expectations of what a list or should look like or should be based off what you've seen. Well, you need the 20 boys and gas or it doesn't work. No, I don't. That's not where we are as a community, right? We're out here to just enjoy what we're doing and being passionate players. And with that, you know, let the other people that are playing 40K have a good time, right? And that's what we always want to be in the community, because in the far future where there's only war, orcs are the only ones having fun. Yeah, as soon as Dawn of War comes out, we're going to be spamming Dawn of War. That's funny. Well, we're ready to be spamming your Stompas right now if you're playing Dread Mob. So with that being said, there's always one thing to keep in mind. Is don't cross our wall, because we'll knock your teeth out. Whoa.